Hi, I'm George, co-founder of Bluethumb, and I'm joined by my colleague Amy. Welcome to the Art in My Home podcast. And today's episode's an in-betweenie.
We uncover the surprising stories behind the art collections of unexpected guests.
So, off the back of our trip to the Melbourne Art Fair yesterday, we're sitting down with Bluethumbers Eden and Conor to discuss their highlights of the fair and what they're loving right now in art. Welcome, guys.
Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
So, how'd you find the art fair?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun anyway. My first time at Melbourne Art Fair. It's funny, I think the last art fair we'd probably all been at was our own art fair. Yeah,
Our
the
own
one we did. Yeah, we call it our own.
Tis our own.
We own that place. What I mean by that is the Affordable Art Fair in Melbourne. So it's funny, it's interesting to compare the two. You know, I think the Melbourne Art Fair really suits that, you know, sort of ultra contemporary space because, you know, the artworks there are ultra contemporary. I think the Affordable Art Fair really suits the exhibition hall up in Carlton Gardens. Yeah, I think it was a good fun there. A lot of people there as well. A lot of sold artworks as well.
It was really strange to be a spectator
Yeah.
and not be working a booth this time.
I love an art fair
It
where
took
I'm
me
not
a little
working.
bit to just feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Like being there as just another person. But
Yeah,
it was
I
good
don't
fun.
think it's funny as well because obviously myself and Amy do a lot of work on the AAF booths and you find yourself not just looking at the artworks but like, look at these labels. They like that. I like their labels. I like the labels.
Postcards are nice.
So we actually have to revamp completely our Bluethumb like sold stickers because now we need blue ones and smaller because that's the trend.
Yeah.
For the art fair. So
I saw tiny black dots.
tiny black dots.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa.
And half dot.
And half,
Which I actually had to inquire about.
Yes.
And what's it mean?
It means it's reserved. They're like getting the funds together.
Because it's so much money.
They're pulling their stocks from various places.
Yeah, those tiny dots are almost like a ballpoint pen.
Yeah.
But there was one exhibit that bucked the trend with like a size 121 font.
Yeah, and I was like, I love the
yelling.
accessibility.
Yeah.
And I like would step forwards to look at the label and then I'm like, oh no, that's too close.
I just appreciated the transparency when they're like, in fact, this is $110,000,
Yeah.
so we're not going to hide that.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's the thing. You see different galleries use different labels. Some people will advertise the prices. Some people won't. You know, it's interesting to see the way they go about it. But look, we're here talking
Turns
about
out the
labels.
ones, the ones that don't have any labels, turns out they're actually all sold as well, which
True.
is interesting. So
Yeah.
you don't need to know.
No.
All right, let's talk about what did you like? What did you really like there?
God, there were so many highlights, to be honest. I mean, like some of the galleries, it's interesting to see some of the galleries take, you know, just a single artist for their whole booth. I think a lot of those booths actually were some of the strongest almost as well, in a sense. Not that there was any that were overwhelmed with artists or different artists, but I think a lot of the booths that stuck to one artist. Mars Gallery, I think in particular.
Crowd favourite.
Yeah.
Who was it, Mars?
Danny McKenzie.
Danny McKenzie, yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
She was definitely a standout.
Oh,
for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
Incredible.
was talking about them last night.
yeah, so and for anyone who wasn't there, her scenes are all sort of, I guess, they're Paris. They're Paris.
yeah.
I think maybe a mix of Euro trip scenes that she's done, and they're sort of, I guess, looking from the exterior into interior scenes that are quite intimate. A lot of them as well. A lot of them
You
are.
feel like you're encroaching on
Yeah, a
someone.
little bit. Yeah, maybe, you know, a bit weird standing the outside, but they're just stunning the way the lighting in them. I think.
how
is,
she paints.
Yeah,
So
and there's one really big one from I think outside of a cafe. I think somewhere a boulangerie in a Paris scene that's just amazing. I think her
Love.
work in particular that stand for me anyway. I thought was a highlight.
BOG.
Amy's dream. One day Amy will have one.
How about you, Eden?
Oh, I was really taken by this Indigenous artist, actually. Brian Martin. His work on paper, it was just amazing. Massive Australian landscape scenes. It just really took me back to my childhood being in the bush.
Oh, I love that.
So yeah, a little bit sentimental there, but he was definitely a standout for me.
Yeah, I love that.
I can't remember seeing either of.
Oh, well. here's some postcodes I collected, George. But I think I remember one of I think we both quite like Jackie Stockdale at Olsen Gallery with the Day of the Dead kind of the
de los
Mexican.
Muertos.
Yeah.
I loved that.
Really cool. But yeah, mine, obviously, my favourite was Danny McKenzie. I've seen her. She did a Hawthorne suburban series, which I saw at Hawthorne Art Centre, and I was just like, incredible. And then when I saw she was coming here, I was like, oh, thank God. So yeah, just beautiful stuff.
And Conor, you had a few cousins.
Connor's on display. Cousin.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to Jonathan Dalton. Yeah, a fellow Dubliner at Nanda Hobbs. Yeah, I mean, his work is amazing. The scale of it. He's got a lot of these sort of fish bowls with jugs, that, as if they're painted by sort of, I guess, the old masters. I think there was a sort of a Picasso jug in a fish bowl. But
Campbell soup can.
And like even these redheads ones, which is an interesting concept. Like in itself, it's cool how good he can paint.
Yeah,
but then
I mean,
to do this sort of concept on top, like all the little match boxes on top of each other.
Yeah, I mean the level of
Real interesting.
the level of the still lifes are just amazing,
Just
and
next
also
level.
it looked like he was selling very well, which is
Yeah,
great to see for
did actually.
him. So yeah, I am actually related to him, but well, take that.
And
Come on.
there was a Diane Gall in their booth.
There was a
Diane
Diane
Gall,
Gall.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hobbs.
Yeah,
Amazing to
Nanda
see as
Hobbs,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that in Sydney.
Yeah, we did.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they had a Hubert up there too that I loved. Yeah, I also loved the Jackie Stockdale. I just loved just constantly repeating that skull with the kind of draped tits, I guess.
Yeah, I think
There was
that's a great
sculpture
description,
version,
George.
and just it kept it was fantastic. And I loved actually. I know, like you were just saying, how you sort of notice. You notice the signage and the booths and the postcards and all the other stuff that's not art, right? Because we do this. And I loved on them how the actual, this kind of handmade material, really intricate sign hanging on it. I don't know how the hell they did it, but it was an artwork basically.
And
It's
then-
this, but
Yeah.
it's on the front of the
like a
booth. It's
tapestry or
amazing.
something.
Yeah. Tapestry's great.
Was it a tapestry? Oh, yeah, you guys
I
all
love
seem to hate
fabric.
tapestry.
I don't mind
Yeah,
tapestry,
nah.
actually.
We're going there already, are we?
No, that's on my new. No, the other good thing on that Jackie Stockdale was the hands holding the canvases up. Like that was so cool.
Yeah.
Like
And they were wax.
they were wax,
The
so
wax,
wax little
yeah.
hands.
And I don't
clay.
think it subtracted from the artwork
Not at all.
because there were such beautiful large
No.
artworks that you really once you looked up you just saw the artwork,
Yeah.
but as soon as you looked down it was all about
It was
the little
just-
fingers
it just
and
worked,
the
yeah.
hands.
Yeah,
was
I just
awesome.
thought it was so cool, and I only ever want to hang artworks in my houses with
Little wax hands.
Multiple
Yeah.
Houses, yeah.
house.
Yeah,
With hands.
properties.
Yeah, my original property.
You're gonna need to cast a few hands.
Yeah.
We're going to need a lot of hands.
I think as well, Abdullah's pieces. I think were all a lot of fun. He's got his
So
big,
fun.
almost hyper realistic rocks that he paints, and then he just sort of paints little funny faces on them and funny
ghostly kind of
hands.
figures,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're so fun. And we kind of we did our little picture where we all posed like a
Yeah,
rock
I
and
loved
things
it.
like that. But I think there's the size of them, and I think it's just something really fun about them, isn't there? Yeah.
Natural landscape ones, and then this ghost face on top of it. It's just so
Very cute.
so cute.
What did you think of do you see those artworks with the kind of soft frames?
The velveteen.
The velvet one.
Velveteen
Yeah.
frames,
Yeah.
instead of a normal frame.
Well, different.
I appreciated the rug in their booth. I really enjoyed that.
What was
Okay,
the
that's
rug?
controversial.
No one else had a rug in their booth.
Oh, is that okay?
They had the
Oh, like
beautiful
not an artwork, just the rug.
velveteen
No, they just-
lounge chair.
Oh, they did.
okay.
They did have a lounge chair.
So I think they brought it together nicely.
Yeah,
I don't
that-
think you could just display
tied
that
it.
type
The
of
rug
art
tied
Yeah.
the room
in a
together?
plain
yeah,
white booth.
fair enough.
They really transported you to
Yeah,
a
I agree.
more luxurious feel.
Yeah, I think I would have struggled without
But
that
not
chair.
for me.
Yeah.
Personally.
I don't think I saw it. I'm struggling to remember. There were so many booths, to be honest.
What was the most surprising artwork you saw?
God, that's a good question.
Surprising.
Yeah, I mean, I said the Abdullah works are, I thought, just because of the way that they're so sort of different in a really fun way and kind of so playful and just obviously don't take themselves too seriously. Surprising is the right word, but we did see, who did myself and Eden saw this Sam Field at the Despard Gallery. He had some really interesting framed works. How to describe the frames? It's almost as if someone had taken banisters from a stairs and used them to frame the work up, and they almost had something.
They were reminiscent of the sacraments that you see in a church, all framed in a very ornate, but not overly expensive, I guess. It was stripped back.
Yeah, it was interesting. And I think that, I think we were talking to the staff on the booth, and they were saying that actually the sort of idea behind the frames maybe having that religious connotation actually lended themselves a lot to the themes of the work, which were sort of, kind of looking back at historical sort of moments and sort of the way I think a lot of things such as religion played parts in them, and sort of how these are sort of cyclical events. That was quite surprising in a good way, and something just hadn't really seen before.
Very different.
Yeah, very different.
Yeah.
But I don't know what
And
else
he was quite a young artist too, 32, I believe.
Yeah. So nice to see a young artist like that get a full booth from themselves as well.
Yeah.
So, don't know what else was surprising.
And what art there, if you were given, would you re-gift?
That's a very polite way of putting it. Yeah,
Can I be controversial?
Yes.
Personally, anything with resin.
Yeah.
No,
It's not my vibe. It's not my vibe. I can understand the fluidity behind it. I really enjoy, but just not in my home. Doesn't suit my style.
Get out.
Yeah, I know. I'll leave.
Leave my studio. Dale Frank, right?
We're not naming names.
I personally love one, so
I'll re-gift it to you.
Yeah, I'll take yours. You can have my tapestry carpet.
I'll take the tapestry.
Yeah, I think there's
Get lost in that.
No.
I mean, I think individually the works were quite impressive. I think the further you moved into the booth, the further I felt like I was like in the upside down of Stranger Things, and there was all these sort of creatures coming at me or something like that. Sort of felt like, but they were just not for me, to be honest. I think they'd.
One thing that I loved and that I was surprised by was that tiny little sculpture that you and I both walked up to, and it was a fish tin can made out of tin, and I didn't realise, but it was a phallus.
Yeah. That's Fiona.
But it was amazing. I loved it.
She does it. It's a series of hers.
Yeah, it was really nice.
It was incredible. Like from a distance, I was like, my God, that's amazing.
I don't think I would re-gift that though. I would keep that.
I think
really cool.
I agree.
I'd put it somewhere very, I don't know, maybe in the hallway.
We both had the exact same expression.
I was like,
from
what?
afar, like, wow, incredible. When you go out and like, oh, okay.
That's
what's in the
really
tin.
nice.
Definitely surprising. But yeah, I mean, I think there was just so much. I think what was interesting before we went, we kind of said maybe what we were expecting. And I think obviously the painting was massive there this year.
Yes.
I think, there was probably less sculptural work than maybe I would have.
I agree.
I was expecting more,
Yeah. But, and I think as well, although there was some quite large scale stuff, there was nothing that was, really out there on scale. And then in the opposite
Actually,
side,
there was one sculpture. It was suspended from the ceiling. It looked like a giant gold sparkler.
Oh.
And Stephen, our artist management guy at Bluethumb, we were talking about the house that you would need to have that. And he was like, probably an airplane hangar. But it was stunning.
There were also a lot of smaller works as well. Like I think, that were, so it was interesting to sort of see that sort of maybe as a trend for it not to be sort of big, sort of blowout works like that. But
And maybe a reassuring sign of the economy. They have their collectors opening from 12 to 5, so that's before we got there. And quite a few booths had already sold out before. So
Tons of
I know, I really missed out on a
lots
few.
of black dots and lots of no labels at all.
I saw price lists that were all sold.
Well, we went to Sullivan Strumpf and we're like, oh, this is like Gregory Hodge. Like we know him. I'm like, oh, we just thought he would have sold a couple of them, and we saw their price list and they're all sold, but they didn't have anything on the walls to kind of show it. So, yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good, but as I said, lots of dots, lots of sold
Lots
work.
of dots.
And I said
We
even
love
the,
it.
Yeah, even the VIP night was sold out for tickets as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's an indication of how successful things were going.
Yeah, it felt like there was a good, busy vibe.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah, the queue for the bar was long.
Yeah.
Mm.
People
Did you
were happy.
go? Did you see the Bill Henson photos? What, no? Did you? what did you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
There was a couple of different. He was at a couple
He
of
was at
different
a couple of
booths.
different
Yeah.
galleries. Was it
Okay, right.
3 different
Oh, was
galleries?
it?
I
Maybe,
think?
I
yeah.
only noticed one.
But yeah, I mean, they're amazing. Like they're the sort of thing that I wish I had space for in
Yeah.
your kitchen or something like that.
That-
Just to look at that, I'd look at one of those every day. I think they're
Just beautiful.
the contrast in them. They're amazing, and there's the level of detail he can get when they're blown up to that size. Well, they're probably 2 meters by a meter maybe, and just the details in it is just they're insane.
Definitely. I just like coming from planning like AAFs the Affordable Art Fair, where we are trying to kind of not jam pack but have as many works available to be viewed at one time on the walls. The kind of really minimalistic way that they can do these sort of things at this higher price point art fairs. Like there was just one wall with one little painting on it, and I'm just like, this is so much money, this wall.
Yeah.
And the painting probably cost 3 times that, but like it's just a really interesting way of like just different how they do their fairs. So
Yeah, I love that. I love seeing like 6 meter wall
with one
piece.
Yeah, the real estate
No
is different.
price.
Yeah, no price because it costs more than the booth. But
I also like a couple of them had booths that were. They kind of had built this maze, a walk through. So you kind of go in and you go behind a wall and there's lots of art all behind.
Yeah.
And I was really trying to push the team to do a sort of Saltburn maze.
I didn't say no. I didn't say no.
Yeah, it's funny though, those spaces, especially in that sort of art fair, I think you can create really intimate spaces within a booth. Like a booth might be, it might be a 30 square meter booth, but if you put the walls the right way, you can, I think we were all in sort of the back of that little booth because there was a interesting mirror piece. I think that we got a couple of pictures in.
Like a demeaning mirror.
And it was and it was there with a lot of smaller works in that little sort of, I guess, sort of alcove in the back of that space.
It really forced people to slow down and take in all of the smaller
Yeah.
work, so I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And I can just imagine the marketing for the Saltburn maze. They're on the dance floor.
Sophia Spexter on
I'm all for it.
Take that to the next planning meeting. All right, well, if there was a piece of art that you could buy at the fair, which one would you buy?
God, just one. Wow.
Just one.
I mean, as I said, the large Danny McKenzie of the outside of the cafe was amazing. I'd probably go for one of Jonathan Dalton's pieces as well.
Just one. Don't be greedy,
Yeah, I don't know. There's too many, and then the photography as well. I'm not sure. If I had to pick one, it'd probably be the Danny McKenzie, I think.
I would go for a Betty Campbell.
Oh,
I think they were stunning. These Indigenous works. Like the soft
Cool.
pastel. That one. I'd buy that one.
Wow,
Man, I
beautiful.
missed them.
Stunning.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Just stunning.
What about you, Amy? I feel like you'd purchase something with nice sell-on value or something.
Yeah, no, I'd just have one Dale Frank, thank you. A big resin-filled. Beautiful.
Just wait until your birthday.
Yeah, just one of those.
Which one of your houses would you put it in?
Yeah, probably my winter house.
Suits the aesthetic.
Yeah.
I think I thought about this. There's a whole bunch of stuff I loved, but I think the little tuna can is actually the piece that
One Fiona Hall
surprised
for
me so
George.
much. I'm like, yeah, it's sort of, yeah. Sorry, who was the artist?
Fiona Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I think
I find it fascinating because when I've seen her exhibition before, it was a row of them, like
Yeah.
just a row of like maybe 20 of them. So for Rosalind Oxley just to have one, I was like, that's so interesting.
Yeah, it would take so long to
So
make.
long.
Yeah.
And did you see if it was made this year? Is it no, it's an
Don't
old
know.
one. Yeah. I feel like that series is a bit older, so maybe, I don't know, maybe she's redoing it. I don't know.
My only complaint was the whiskey highball.
And that's a valid complaint, George.
I ordered a whiskey highball, which was whiskey and soda, and it was green.
Yeah.
Electric
It tasted
green.
strange.
Electric green.
Yeah.
Looked like
Tongue on
poison.
that. Yeah. Look.
Yeah, it looked like something some dodgy bar would sell on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. No, it looked exactly that.
Yeah.
Edgy drinks.
I gotta say, I think I was expecting more really inaccessible art. Sort of.
Yes.
I don't know.
Outrageous price points.
Yeah, and I guess because I just going to Sydney Triennial, and I sort of thought there'd be more stuff that was like.
I think the lowest was $350.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a real valid point, George, because those Gregory Hodge normally paints for Sullivan's Jump normally paints massive. And what were the price points for those ones, Conor? Like
Yeah,
2-2 or?
yeah, maybe they were definitely.
That's not.
To
That's
say reasonable, but
Yeah, very reasonable.
Yeah.
Just my entire house
Yeah.
loan.
But like,
Yeah, I just.
it
it was-
wasn't
it was
outrageous.
great, yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah, I think if you were going as a first time collector, I think
you'd find
there's
something.
probably a first time collector of a certain price wage packet. There's probably stuff there for you as well, and there's stuff, as you said, by very collectible artists at at a price point that might not make you lose any sleep.
No, I agree.
Cool. Let's talk about some art that you guys have, because normally in the podcast, this is an in-betweeny, so this is more of a team chat. But normally, we go into in depth about the art in the guest's house. But yeah, let's and you've come across from Ireland, so I'm assuming you haven't been able to bring all the art you wanted. But
No, I haven't. I brought one. I bought a print with me that I managed to get in my suitcase in a tube. It's sort of a very graphic print of it's called the DART. It's the Dublin Area Rapid Transport System. That isn't rapid whatsoever. It's about 100 years old, but it's sort of a cartoon drawing of that, and it's sort of a little piece of home. My mum visited from Dublin last year, and she brought me a really nice sort of painted print from home, sort of small, maybe 30 by 20 type thing. And it's of anyone who's ever been to Dublin might know that we've got these two towers, the Poolbeg Towers they're called, and they're sort of like when you fly into Dublin, you kind of know you're home when you see these two towers. They're sort of red and white old incinerator towers, and they should be knocked down, but no one wants to knock them down because they're just
How will they know they're home?
Yeah, exactly. The pilots won't know where to land if we haven't got our Poolbeg Towers. So I've got one of those up as well. Again, something else that reminds you of home. I've got a couple of little graphic prints from the Melbourne Art Book Fair, which happens in the NGV every year. There's always some great sort of suppliers of art books there, as well as people who make zines, a lot of artists who do zines and sort of issues of their own magazines, and they also do a lot of their own posters as well. So just picking up some local stuff there, again, with the idea of having it here in Melbourne, and also something I can bring home maybe at some point. And then, of course, I have purchased through Bluethumb. I have got a little Tajampi weaving dog. So for anyone who doesn't know, Tajampi is one of the art centres that we work with across Australia, and we got a large consignment of their sort of weavings of animals in. So actually, it's not a dog. It looks a lot like a dog. I've just realised it's not a dog. It's actually an echidna. I don't know why I thought it was. I actually thought it was a dog because
The
I
foreign
was.
is showing.
I actually thought it was.
Guys, we're working on the education. Okay.
Yeah, we haven't got echidnas at home, so I think I got it mixed up with a dog because I was filming my day in the life of yesterday. Because anyone who follows Bluethumb on Instagram has probably seen we've been doing our day in the life of, and I wanted to take the piss out of George by at the end of George's day in the life of, he gets home and he gives Frankie his dog, and he says that I get home and I pat my dog. So I decided to film myself coming home last night from the art fair and just patting this little Tajanti thing with the idea.
Say goodnight to the...
Yeah, exactly. Which is why now in my head I was like, my dog, George's dog. But he is an echidna. We do call him Spike, is what we call him. And yeah, we love him. And we've got so many of those amazing little creatures here in Bluethumb that we get from Tajampi. And yeah, he's a really good conversation piece, because I say 99% of the people that come to my apartment are Irish, and they always see this little Tajampi weaving and wonder what it is. So yeah, it's really, and I can't wait to maybe at some point bring it home, and then I'm sure it'll be even more of a talking piece.
There's a camel in the meeting room.
Yeah,
I've had my eye on it. Every day I walk to the office and I see it. I'm like, ooh, if only I had a mantle for you to sit on. I'm working on it.
That's the extent of my collection so far anyway.
I think, majority of my art is hand-drawn pieces from myself.
Yes.
But since starting at Bluethumb, I could not resist. And my first piece that I purchased was a Shannon Camden Still Life lemon on a pink background. And I think it was one of your first gallery sales as well, which makes it extra special. Yeah. And I bought it because I simply cannot look at it and not smile.
Yeah,
It's
lovely.
stunning. And another one that I have is a Cat Leonard. It's a still life. It's a
Very
still life
pretty.
of a daisy in a jar. And my mum actually has a jar collection of found jars, some that she's like dug up in strange places and some that have just come to her in flea markets. It's not crazy. She's not a hoarder or anything.
It's just a
little
everyday jar
collection. It's small.
Yeah.
It's confined to one shelf. But yeah, really just remind me of that. I think I'm drawn to sentimental art, definitely. And still lives. Can't go past the still life.
Yeah.
And both of those artists are rising stars. And I just think one of the amazing things about buying art is getting ahead of the curve and discovering people and then watching their careers really blossom.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Cat is fairly new.
Cat is fairly new.
Yeah.
Last year? Year before?
I think last year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
very accessible price
Very.
points,
Yeah.
both
Very.
of them. Shannon actually sold out at our Melbourne AAF store.
Correct.
She
And
did.
sneak peek, I believe we are taking her to Brisbane AAF.
Yes.
Taking her again.
Yeah, very
It should be in the
exciting.
gallery next week or the week after as well for the next exhibition.
Oh my
so,
God, watch me buy another one.
Another one for the collection.
Yeah.
So if it's not a sign how much we're all invested in her, you should also invest in it too.
And
So
actually,
true.
the painting behind George, I also have my eye on her.
yeah.
That's an Amanda Cutler.
Yeah, you've had your eye on that one for a
Yeah,
while.
I just need a house.
Yeah.
So if anyone has a rental going,
Oh my God, this is not a proper podcast.
oh, but it is.
Yeah. I have a cat Leonard at my house.
And I believe Ed commissioned a painting
did.
of
He
his
did.
dog
He
as
did.
well.
Yeah, Christmas time.
Yeah, super sweet.
She's an Adelaide girl. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I have a new one.
Yeah.
I went shopping last week, so depending on when my partner listens to this or not, we got a new painting. Harry,
Surprise.
we did not buy anything. Surprise!
What
It's
is it?
downstairs. I brought a Wendy Wang. Wendy Wang. So Wendy's a Melbourne artist. I think she popped up maybe end of last year
Yeah.
on the platform. And it is an interior still life. Interior abstract still life, I would call it. And it has a wine glass, a chair, and a wine bottle in it, and I love it. It's my 3 favourite things.
It speaks to you.
It really speaks to me.
If you were a painting.
If I wasn't painting, it would be that. So yeah, but no, she's a really cool new artist that I thought, as I said, I think rising star as well.
Yeah, lots of
Definitely
rising
one to keep an
stars.
eye on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am actually loving Will Nailbone at the moment.
Yeah, Neil.
Oh, you do
Yeah.
love him?
What does he do?
He does. What would you? They're like
He does. I guess they're sort of urban landscape scenes. Yeah, he had.
Semi-expressionistic.
He had a couple of. you had 4 works in our exhibition, our Christmas exhibition here in the gallery. They're all sort of Melbourne scenes. The ones actually he did at Christmas, they're kind of quite nocturnal scenes. They're kind of almost...
All like streetscape.
Yeah,
Urban streetscape.
but he's done a lot of sort of daytime scenes now, especially of sort of not
Kilda,
not iconic Melbourne buildings, and the fact that I know that building. It's just I know that's a Melbourne building. You know, it's that sort of architecture. Yeah, so he's a part of our sort of our next wave exhibition, which will be open in March. But yeah, no, Neil's great, and again, someone who has found relatively recent success on the platform and joined only relatively recently as well. So yeah,
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah, I don't think
We didn't talk about any icks. I was asked to take note on icks.
were.
And I have a little dot point list.
Circle back to the icks. Circle back.
Ick research.
Ick research.
Deep preparation.
Well, look, but
And
when
ready
they,
to unload.
as if the shaggy carpet like painting didn't give you the ick enough. That was my
I
ick.
liked it.
Sorry, Lauren,
vacuum it.
you have a new tapestry coming your way.
Poor Lauren, don't put her through this.
Yeah, look.
It can be her push present.
What are your icks?
Mine is more about the presentation, less about the art. So my biggest ick is not painting the sides of your canvas. And I feel like at the price point that we're displayed, I would expect at least a display frame.
Controversial.
Yeah.
Very
I don't know. Yeah.
Eternally controversial though. Like we get that at all
It is,
aspects of it.
yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people expect that when they're buying artwork. So
yeah. No, I did see another one as well. That was a framed piece, and the pricing was listed as unframed. And then you could add on the framing, which I thought was a little bit cheeky. I think,
Yeah,
if you, again,
cheeky.
I think if you're displaying a framed, you should probably just include the framed price.
yeah, yeah.
I think the hassle
Agree.
of unframing it is probably
Yeah.
not worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah. If they don't want the frame, then just
I saw Ben Quilty, which is a
yeah,
celebrity. in the art
that's
world.
an art world
Celebrity
celeb
painters.
there.
I loved watching you in your element, Amy.
Yeah, thank you.
You were just like, every corner you were like, oh my God. Celebrity. Do you know who this is? And I'm like, tell me.
Amy probably could have given guided tours, I think.
Oh, I felt like I was on a guided tour.
A star map.
Just like, yeah,
You just needed the lanyard.
yeah. Just me and my peak element there last night.
Fantastic.
Cool.
All right. Great in-betweeny.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Good BT band, everyone.
Always.